I know Dr. Hurin's on his way, so he's been introducing me. I think they're in the hallway right now.
You want to sit up? You want to stay there? You can sit out right here. I'll come down and join you. He said he'd wave at me. I don't even know where he is. Okay. It is my privilege to welcome here today with us at Eastern New Mexico University, Miss Lorynn Guerrero, 2022 New Mexico Teacher of the Year. Ms. Guerrero also teaches English 9th through 12th grades at the New Americas School in Las Cruces, New Mexico. And she also teaches what's called a GRADS program. She is also a graduate student at Eastern New Mexico University, and I will allow her to explain what the GRADS program is as she discusses and shares with us some important educational issues as well as her background and what brought her here to this point to be the New Mexico Teacher of the Year. Welcome, please. I almost said por favor. I'm a Spanish teacher also. Welcome, please, Ms. Guerrero. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me here today. I am excited to speak with you. Again, my name is Lorynn Guerrero. I am the 2022 New Mexico Teacher of the Year. It's been an exciting time for me these past few months. This is a role that I was not expecting to have, but I am truly embracing it. I want to thank Dr. Hurin, Dr. Davis. I want to thank my professors, Dr. Vetterly and Dr. Patron, who are here, and the College of Education and Technology for inviting me here today. I am from Las Cruces, New Mexico. This is my first time here in Portales, and I am very grateful to be here. And I will be coming back again in a few weeks for graduation. I'm very excited about that. I will be getting my master's degree in I'm a little nervous. I will be getting my degree in education administration. So I'm looking forward to that as well. Universities, colleges, education have always been a big part of me. My mom and dad were very huge advocates for education. Because my mom struggled in school, she really pushed my sister and I to show us the importance of education. I did become a mother at a young age, and I saw that me having a child at the age of 17, it was an obstacle that I would have to overcome, and it was the very beginning of what I saw as an adult. I did see that there were different paths that I would have to take in order to fulfill my dream of becoming a teacher. In seeing these experiences that I had, I also see them in my students as well. And so when I talk about different paths, I understand them, and I want to offer them to my students too. I've always been surrounded by an educational setting. My dad was a teacher at a local high school in Las Cruces, and I was a teacher's kid. And at being a teacher's kid, we're able to be at the schools after hours, before hours, and during the summertime. We did know which teachers kept the best snacks. We would spend a lot of time in the hallways. My sister and I had races with the other teacher kids on those rolling chairs that only teachers get to sit in. I have fond memories of running around the halls of Mayfield, and I just liked being in the school setting. I liked drawing on the chalkboard. It was a chalkboard before we had the whiteboards. My mom also kept us knee-deep in education during our childhood. She worked at New Mexico State University, and she started out as a secretary at the College of Chemistry, and it took her a long time to get her degree, and it took her about 22 years. So in seeing these obstacles and these other ways to get your education was also what I saw. That was my role model. Being at New Mexico State University, we started to see it's a place where you grow, where you play. We climbed trees there. I shared earlier with the students, we had roller skates out there at the university, and universities have the best sidewalks. There's no rocks, there's nothing there, so you can roller skate everywhere. We became friends with the professors. A lot of them in the chemistry would let us play with dry ice. Okay, so as a child, playing with dry ice is pretty cool. They would mix chemicals. We would see different reactions, different things turn to different colors. The graduate students were the best because they had snakes and rodents and creatures that they brought to work with them, and they would share them with my sister and I, so it was always fun to play with. We knew a lot of the hidden entrances to the buildings, and it was an amazing place to have a childhood. And in that, my mom still worked at the university. Once she got her degree, she was an academic advisor, and she began taking my own children to school with her, to work. So they are riding bikes. I hear stories that my youngest son was able to roam around campus, and he was going to the student center to get his lunch and snacks. And I did not know, as a 6-year-old, he had free range of a campus. Becoming a teacher for myself wasn't an easy trek. My journey was filled with a lot of obstacles and failures. In high school, I coasted through high school. I got academic letters, I had a high GPA, but I didn't know how to work for those things. I was the teacher's pet. I was that favorite student, and I had a car, so if my teachers needed a breakfast burrito, I would go get that for them. So I didn't know what college and becoming a teacher what I would have to do to put in my time and my effort. I did not have to face that much adversity until I became a parent at 17. Then I didn't know if I would be able to finish high school. I wasn't sure about college, but I did have the help and support of my parents, my teachers, and I was able to graduate from New Mexico State University. However, becoming a teacher was another thing. I had standardized tests. I had those teacher tests to take to get that license. And I didn't know how to study for them. I didn't know how to prepare for them. And I just thought, well, I would take tests in high school. I didn't study. And I did that with my teacher prep exams. I passed 2 out of the 3. The one that I did not pass, I didn't study for it. I just kind of showed up the same way I showed up for my ACT, just to take it. It was really hard for me to see that I had failed such a huge test that was going to make a huge difference in my career. I panicked, and then I thought, what do I need to do? I need to study. I need to take advantage of the material. I need to pay for those study exams and take the time to look through it. And I did. I studied. There was 3 tests I had to take: basic skills, content, and competency. So in me thinking that I was prepared for it, I signed up for one of those C tests, not realizing I signed up for the wrong one. I studied for content. I was ready for language arts questions. And when I sat down to take the test, it said competency. So in the 15 minutes, trying not to panic, trying not to cry, you know, these people don't care. They're there to facilitate the test. I can't ask for a new test. What do? And I took my time. I read through the directions. I thought, I am competent. I know I can do this. And I took that test and I passed it. Ready for the next test, I did take the content and I passed that one as well. So to have these barriers, to overcome them, it's eye-opening and it's humbling, and I'm starting to learn as a student, as an adult. I'm learning these things, and unfortunately, I'm learning them the hard way. My next step, I'm able to teach. I'm doing a great job. I'm teaching at a middle school. I've been there moving up to the high school. I'm ready for that next step. I'm ready to get my level 2 dossier. I want that pay increase. I'm looking forward to it. I did the dossier. I did not put my full effort into it. The deadline was like in March, and I was typing it up the weekend before. I had all the material. I had everything that I needed. I could just do it. I'm an English teacher. I can type, no big deal, okay? It was very eye-opening when I got my failure. I did not pass, okay? What do I do now? I'm upset at myself. I'm upset at myself because I know what I should have done. I'm upset with myself because it's the money, the dossier you have to pay, you know, and I don't want to look at it again. I have 5 years. I'm in my 3rd year. I have 5 years to do this. And I put it off till the 5th year. But I knew what I needed to do, and I did ask for help. So in seeing my colleagues help me in getting better material from my students, I was able to submit my dossier, and I passed it. I'm looking forward to doing my level 3 dossier. I have my content, I'm ready to take it seriously, and that's what I'm going to do during the summertime. The one thing that I needed to get my level 3 was my master's degree, which I will have that in May, which I'm very excited about. I'm seeing that these obstacles that I have gone through, I see my students going through similar things. And I tell them, you cannot stop, you cannot give up. And so when I'm working with my students, Dr. Hurin talks about my grads program, the grad students. Grads is a program that's been in New Mexico for 30 years. It's not something new, it's not something that I came up with. I was a part of that program in 1998. My son, we were talking about it earlier, people are trying to do the math thinking that he's my son that I'm talking about. I have an older son who's 23. And so when I say I was 17 and people are saying he's 18, you know, I wish I was in my 20s, okay? I'm not. But this program has been around and I just utilized it. I utilized the program and I asked for help. With the students that I work with, GRAD stands for Graduation, Reality, and Dual Role Skills. These students, the 2 roles that they have is they are a student and they are a new parent. And the curriculum works with them. It shows them, gives them tools to be better parents, to educate them on things that maybe us as parents just know. And so the curriculum is there, but it also brings in the element of a child care center. So with the child care center, those teen parents are able to come to school with their children. The children have a licensed child care center and they have their own lesson plans. They have their own curriculum that they work on, and it's amazing to see the progress that these babies have worked through and that they have gone through. I shared earlier that our babies, we talk about them like they're our own students. You know, we have Monica in 5th period and she's doing great, she's coming to school. But then we also have baby Jill who is standing now. We're very excited that she's standing. We talk about, you know, little Michael who is eating solid foods now. or he got transferred from the infant side to the toddler side because he's walking. And so the kids, we are just really, really proud of them. When I was putting in the child care center, I shared with many people that when I put the child care center into the school, I did think it was gonna be easy. And I feel ignorant when I say that because I know nothing about early childhood education. I'm secondary. The youngest people I've worked with are 6th graders. But it was one of the most frustrating things that I've done. There was times that I did want to give up. Similar to when I wanted to give up with my teacher test. Similar to when I wanted to give up with my dossier. But I knew that I could not give up for those students. Just as a parent, my children expect me to do certain things for them, and it's hard, and I do them. These students that I have, sometimes they don't have advocates, and I wanted to be that advocate for them. I wanted to help them. And I wanted them to have a place where they could bring their babies. It was a safe and reliable environment. A lot of times they tell me, well, my grandma can take care of my baby. Yes, your grandma can, but your grandma also has a life. She also has appointments. She also has errands to run. And so sometimes those are not reliable child care sources, but our child care center is. We have a certified director and an assistant who are there every day. I didn't want to be the New Mexico Teacher of the Year. I had no idea that that was even an option. In becoming a teacher, I really just wanted to hang out with my kids, teach them some English, help them, get a love for reading, and I am grateful that I had this opportunity. So when people are like, what did you do to become New Mexico Teacher of the Year? I don't really know what I did. This is what I do. I want to work with my students. I want them to learn. I want them to come to school every day, and that's just kind of what I was doing. I didn't know any better, and I didn't know any different other than to just help my students. I'd like to share a note that I recently got from one of my students, and this is just one of my English students. It had been a really stressful day. I was updating final exams. This was a few weeks ago, and I was entering them into the grade book. And when I focus, I furrow my eyebrows, and I look like I'm mean. I look like I'm angry, okay? And she came in, not even in my class during that class period, and she says, hey, miss, I wanted to give this to you. And I'm like, what is this? What is this? I'm thinking it's like makeup work she's trying to get in the last couple grades. And I'm like, okay, thank you. Go back to class. And then I open it up, and I was surprised. It was a handwritten note that she had given to me. It was in pretty green pen. There was little hearts on it. And she told me, I want to thank you for making me a person who loves English. Never in other schools have I ever wanted to go to English class every day. Something about being in your class and learning with you makes me believe in myself. Thank you, Ms. Guerrero. I believe that I can understand any subject if I can put my mind and all my attention to it. Your class is very easy for me. I wouldn't want any better teacher for English if it wasn't for you. I just needed to let you know that I really appreciate you. Thank you. The student signed her name at the end, and she drew another heart by it. And so it was really humbling to me to see that the student knows that I care about them. The student knows that I want what's best for her. And for me, that's what I want. It's not a job for me. I enjoy going to work. I show up at 7:30 in the morning. My class doesn't start until 8:45, but I like to be there early. And for me, it's fun. I get to hang out with some of the coolest people, but teaching is hard. I had some students ask me earlier today, what was my roughest day? I couldn't really pinpoint one because there's numerous ones. It is hard emotionally and physically, but I learned these skills and these tools that I needed to navigate through the challenges. And it's hard, but you have to put like a different type of work into it. And for me, I want to build these relationships with my students. I want to empower them in ways that it's meaningful to them. And as a teacher, I do see this great power that I was given. And it's the power to shape these futures. This is a way, for me, I feel like this is a way better way to be an influencer. I'm not really big on social media, so I just have my classroom platform. I don't have TikTok yet, so I'm not there yet. I've had the pleasure to work with middle school and high school students, and so working with the Child Care Center and these infants and toddlers is just another great opportunity for me to be a teacher with these students. And so as a teacher, I never know how long I'm going to affect the students and their learning. Teaching for me is very special, and I do want to share my story with them. I want to share that me being this teacher, I'm not perfect. I've had obstacles, I've had to overcome them, and they can get through it just the same way that I have. I love watching my students grow, and as Teacher of the Year, we have monthly meetings with all the state teachers. And this past week, we had a guest speaker, and I really liked the way he ended his presentation, and I'm gonna end mine the same way. And he said, teaching is heart work, and I believe that. And so that was something that I wrote down. And I just wanna say thank you for this opportunity. So does anybody have any questions for me? I don't know if anybody wants me to go more into depth about anything. What do you think? I will do my teacher weight, just kidding.
I have a question about the grad program.
Yes.
That's near and dear to my heart. I was a teen mom, so
Okay.
alternative school to graduate.
Yes.
So like, is the childcare free, or do they have to? Is it just part of being enrolled in the school they get the childcare, or?
Okay, yes, so through the grads program, so it's the grads program and the curriculum, and then the Child Care Center is a separate entity. And so we are able to have that Child Care Center in the high school. And so it's a licensed child care center through ECECD, and our students qualify for free child care because they are students. So even students in college, as a college student, I qualified for free child care, and I was able to take my children to a child care center. And so they have the free child care. And the school is reimbursed because they are able to, the school hires the employees, but the child care center pays for the children. The ECECD pays for the children. So it's beneficial, and I tell the students, you don't have to pay for it, and you're getting a certified teacher. Our director, she is teaching the students English, Spanish, and sign language. So it's a great little learning environment for them. Yes, ma'am.
Remember back in the day, we used to have the grads program here at Eastern, and we also had a child care training center that was there in the education building as well.
Yes. So at Eastern, they used to have a child care training center as well. And we are not training students, but we do have students come in to our child care center, and they're student aides. So they're learning how to take care of these babies and seeing if this is an opportunity they want to pursue, if they want to go into early childhood and what that entails. So it's a really great learning opportunity for our students as well. Our parents aren't in there, but our high school students are. And so we did have 1 male student and 6 female students, 1 per class period. So I thought that was a great thing for us to have too. Yes?
As an English teacher, what is your favorite classic novel?
My favorite classic novel, which I know people are like, that's very cliche, but I love teaching Romeo and Juliet to my freshmen. And so they roll their eyes when they hear Shakespeare. They're like, you're gonna make it miserable. But I love the translation of it because it helps them to understand it. And I want them to understand the play. And I ask them, do you know why we make you read Romeo and Juliet? And they're like, because you hate us. I'm like, no, that's not why. I tell them, because Romeo and Juliet are similar to your ages. They were young, and look at the choices that they made. And then your families are very similar to those parents. They don't want their babies to grow up. They don't want their babies to be doing these types of things and making these choices. And so it's kind of like I try to relate it to them. And so I enjoy teaching that. And then we do the calculation of the days, like how long Romeo and Juliet have been dating. Does anybody know how long Romeo and Juliet dated? It's a few days, absolutely. It's like a day and a half, something like that. So when the students leave over the weekend, I'm like, have a good weekend, don't get married, and everybody laughs. So that's like our joke for that whole quarter, is have a good weekend, don't get married. And so it's Romeo and Juliet. Yes?
What does your day-to-day look like in your classroom? I'm very interested to find out.
Okay. Wow, that is a good one. So my day-to-day in my classroom, I teach 4 different classes during the day, and my school starts at 8:45. And my first class is ELL, so it's English Language Learners, and we have to swirl, that's part of what WIDA is, and so we include that whole language aspect of it. So we are speaking, we are reading, writing, and listening with each other. And the classroom is set up in tables. And so we're doing a lot of that. The students don't like it because they have to talk to each other. They really want to just like sit and work on their own, but I do make them work with each other. And then I shared earlier as well, my students are learning English, and I know it's intimidating to them. I know that feeling of apprehension because for myself, I've flipped it for me. I don't speak Spanish, but I'm trying to learn. And so while they're trying to learn English, I'm trying to learn Spanish to communicate with them. And so we're both learning in the classroom. And then my next class is ESL. And again, we're still practicing the speaking, writing aspect of it. And then I do have them working on Rosetta Stone. That's what my school has for them. And so they're working on that. I have them do that 1 day out of the week. And then my next class is grads, and we do a lot of parenting skills. Right now, they are researching the parental rights because they were really affected by the teen parent in Hobbs that did not want to have her child. And so they have a lot of emotion with it. And I said, you can't do your emotions, you have to do the law. And so that's what they were working on yesterday and on Tuesday. And then I have lunch. And usually I try to take that time to myself. I'm really big on boundaries. And so I do kick my students out of the classroom so I can have that time to myself. And then my 4th period starts. I have seniors during that time. And right now we are working on personal novels. Last quarter, we were working on college and career readiness. And I printed out the prompts for New Mexico State Scholar Dollars, and those were their assignments. They had to write those essay prompts, and then they submitted them. So whether they're going to school or not, they have that opportunity and possible money there for them. And just to see what it is and then research. And that's my 4th and 5th period class, so that takes me to 2:30. And then from 2:30 to 3:30, I have 32 freshmen in the afternoon. All my other classes, I just cruise through. Everybody does what's expected of them. And those freshmen, I have to be on my toes. I'm constantly circulating around the classroom. Our routines and procedures are in place. They're constantly swirling. Because it's the afternoon and it's an English class, a lot of my students like to try to put their heads down, but we have to get up, we have to walk around, we have to talk, they have to come back and write, and so that's my afternoon class. And then at 3:30, I'm like, I made it. And 3:30 to 4:30 is my planning period. And so that's usually where I'm trying to get grading done. A lot of times, I don't know if you can tell, I'm a social butterfly, and so I end up bothering my colleagues instead of grading. And recently, I've had to really buckle down in work because I had this huge assignment due, and it was for my my internship with I was shadowing my principals around, and I had to bring in a project to the school, and I had scheduled parent meetings back to back to back to back. And so that's what I've been doing for the past 2 months, is really trying to finish my project. So I hope I passed. My professor's over there, so I'm like, so that's what I've been working on. That's my day. If I can get away from the classroom, there's 150 students in our school, and we have a security guard. And so if I really have to get away to make some copies or something, somebody will come into my classroom and watch the students, and I can go downstairs and get something from the copy room. But I always make my way by the child care center, and I peek my head in to see what those babies are doing. And I see them bouncing around, I hear the singing, I hear the crying, and so that makes me happy. Then I go back upstairs with my students. So that's what my day's like. And we end at 4:30, but we do have night students who come in. That's our non-traditional students, 18 to 22, and they come in and work. So my school is open till 8:30, and I have to try to get out by 5:30, because if not, I'll just stay there and hang out. My son's busy with his practices, and he doesn't get home till late, so it's not like he's waiting for me, and then if I can like gauge it, we'll get home at the same time. He's kind of a social butterfly too with his friends, and so we'll get home around 7:30 or so. So that's my day. Those are great questions. Yes?
What advice do you have for a teacher candidate who's going into their first year teaching, probably next year?
I would say I'm proud of you. I think you're doing a great thing, and you have help and resources. Don't think that you can do it all on your own. Ask for help. Ask your colleagues that you're working with. Ask your professors. They're here for you. Those emails don't change, and I know they give you their personal numbers because I've called them too as well. So call them and ask for help. And then just, learn as much as you can. I steal from people all the time. I'm like, where did you get that? Can I have that? And I did share earlier too, when somebody says, if you need help, let me know. I'm like, okay, give me your phone number, give me your email, because I will be calling you. And I do. So utilize that. Yes?
Yeah, so there's a question from someone that tuning in on the live stream. They say, you mentioned high school was an easy experience for you, but college and your qualifying test became a challenge. What advice would you give students who are experiencing the same thing?
Okay, so what advice would I give a student who it was easy for them to get through high school, but college was more challenging? I think really learning how to learning study skills. I think that's one thing that I would suggest to people, that I didn't know how to study, I didn't know how to sit down and focus and work, and so learning that was really important to me. And so I know it's fun in games, and college is really challenging, and I feel like I really buckled down for my master's degree. So great question, thank you. Yes?
Do you feel like COVID has changed your point of view on teaching?
Yes. COVID has changed my point of view on teaching. While it was very difficult for teachers and students, it gave me the opportunity to go a step further and make those visits to the house. I had never really done that before, and during COVID, I was taking work to students, I was talking to parents, I was driving. Where Las Cruces is, we're in Las Cruces. I was driving almost to the Texas border to a student's house. to give them work. And it's very humbling to be there, and these parents are grateful that I'm there to talk to their students just briefly. Even if we're this far away, I'm trying to explain the lesson to the student. And I'm grateful because they're giving me things. I got pecans, I got chili, I got all of these things that these families were like, thank you for coming. And that's important to me, that they know that I care about their child's education. Yes?
Why did you choose to come to Eastern for your master's degree instead of at Western?
Well, that's a great question. I chose to come to Eastern for my master's degree because I was admitted into the TESOL program. And so at Las Cruces Public Schools, they were asking teachers if they wanted to become TESOL certified. They would pay for it. And as a teacher, I'm looking for anything that's free. I'm gonna do it. Okay, yes, I'm definitely gonna utilize it. And I was able to do that with my other English teachers in my department. And so we worked together, and so Jeannie Flores was our instructor. And she was great. And so I was like, well, I'm already admitted into Eastern. I'm already admitted into the graduate school. Let me see what classes I could take. And that's just kind of how I started. So I was able to get into the program, and I'm here. And I'm so grateful that I did. I loved NMSU, and I feel like I got a really good teaching education on how to teach students and the theory. But being here at Eastern, it's amazing. And I've been close to my professors. I was able to contact them through email, through telephone calls. If I had questions, I asked. I learned to ask questions and not just be confused or not do it. And they were so helpful. And they never made me feel dumb or inferior or anything, and I appreciated that. And a lot of the work that I've learned, I've just continued to apply it into the classroom. So, anything else? Is everybody ready for cookies? Yes. I saw the cookies out there too, and I know they're homemade, so I'm ready for them too.
Well, Lorynn, you've not only inspired and captivated us with your life, your experiences, your challenges, but you've also held the attention of my 9-year-old son. So that is amazing.
Thank you.
We appreciate you. We appreciate your life, the example, and the service that you've given. And I personally, and I think everyone here, feels inspired to do a little more and do a little better. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And as Ms. Guerrero said, I'm going to pronounce it correctly this time. Ms. Guerrero said we are going to enjoy some cookies and further conversation if you'd like, just out here in the foyer.
Yes.
Thanks.
Thank you.